I'm going to begin, Tess, by saying, I mean, Bianca's by no means just a love interest to our hero in this movie. She's a really full-bodied character who's been well-crafted. I was just wondering, I mean, for you, that must have been completely essential that be the case.
Yeah, and the nice thing is for Ryan Coogler, it was essential for him too. We had early conversations where he was like, this just needs to be a fully fleshed out character. And what's so fun about him is some of that stuff made it to the screen, things that we would discuss together, and some of it was just for us, just to make sure that she had a rich inner life and she wasn't someone, that just served to move the story forward for Adonis, but was somebody that really had a life and a world that was rich and full and interesting and all those things.
Because I gather that Ryan's quite open to discussing the characters away from this kind of screenplay and sort of letting the actors have quite an input into the character as well.
Yeah, he is, and he's just he loves film so much and he loves character work, so we would trade long emails back and forth about the details of Bianca's life and her family environment and where she's from, and I mean things that never made it to the screen, but for example, we both know that she went to Quaker school, like that really mattered to us at the time. So it's really fun to collaborate with him because nothing is too minute, Yeah.
So out of interest, was she a musician already? Because obviously you're a musician in real life as well. I mean, was she already a musician in the screenplay, or was that something that you decided to bring in?
Yeah, she was always a musician. And for Ryan, it was imperative that whoever played the part actually wrote the music. So there was a time when he was also exploring having a musician do their acting debut. I got lucky in the sense that I, had occupied both of those worlds, but we had about Ludwig Göransson and I, the composer, had about 2 weeks to make her voice, and that was a unique challenge for sure.
I imagine when kind of getting into the head of a character, I mean, all those small little details must help inform the performance so much. I mean, just the fact that the music you were playing was original as well.
Yeah, that was huge. And even because we spent 2 weeks together, Ludwig and I, in a studio, 16 hours a day. I was eating, breathing, sleeping the music, and even having that period, the first scene when you see Adonis meet Bianca and she's so short with him, it's not just because she's like a Philly girl and she's short with men. Sometimes it's also just because she's working so hard on this music and doesn't have time for any distraction. And I had 2 weeks of knowing what that felt like, where everything else to me was like, get out of my space, I'm making this music. So it really felt like an immersion into character, getting to work on the songs.
And you've got War on Everyone coming up next. I mean, I'm a big fan of The Guard and Calvary. Did you see those, and were they part of the reason why you decided to get involved?
Yes, I wanted to do that movie so badly just because I love him as a filmmaker, and Calvary was one of my favorite films that year, but just in any year, he's so talented.
And also the rumours about signing on to Alex Garland's Annihilation, is that true? Possibly true. Well, that kind of leads into another question. I mean, I was just wondering, potentially Alan Garland, Ryan Coogler, John Michael McDonough, Ava DuVernay. I mean, these are some of the most creative young kind of visionaries in cinema at the moment. I mean, that gives off the impression that you're picking roles very much based on the director. Is that the case? Is that something you've always really kind of used as one of the main reasons for signing onto a project?
I think so. Someone just clocked that recently. Someone said to me, "You're so director-driven," and I hadn't thought of myself that way, but I think, I'm really interested in telling stories, and obviously when you're making a film, the filmmaker has so much to do with this story and how it's being told and their vision. So it's important to me to know that whoever I'm in it with is somebody that has an eye that I think is unique and interesting. So yeah, I think so. I guess it's something I'm into.
Of course, with Ryan and Ava, obviously Justin Simon as well, these are black filmmakers putting black characters at the heart of their own story.
Yeah.
It must be so inspiring, kind of encouraging to know that these stories are now sort of being told and that there is a real place for them in contemporary cinema.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I stuck around long enough to be the benefactor of that, because truthfully I feel like there was a period where it felt kind of bleak. It just felt like if you were a brown person, that sometimes you were just the object of the narrative and not the subject of one, that you were always functioning to move someone else forward. And so it's so important to me. And actually, I'm glad that you mentioned Justin Simien, because doing Dear White People kind of changed my trajectory. It was a time where I felt like, now I know what it feels like to get a project that you just burn for, and that you're excited and scared and titillated to begin work on. And so that became kind of the new barometer for me. And everything that's come after that has been sort of in that same spirit of trying to chase that feeling again.
So just finally, what do you think changed then in that regard?
Well, I think I think storytellers are beginning to say, hey, we want to make work that reflects the times that we live in, and so that means that there's more diverse cast. And then I think Hollywood kind of, they got a dare in the sense that there was this idea that films, with brown people in them didn't sell internationally, and then they get proven wrong time again, at least recently with films like Straight Outta Compton and 12 Years a Slave, and even Dear White People sold, in parts of, like in Scandinavia, where I was like, what? They want to see this movie? Why? Because I think people just want to see good film, regardless of who's in front of the camera or who's behind it. I don't know. I feel like such a wild shift is happening, which I'm excited about. And in the context of a movie like Creed, a boxing movie, this is one of the few boxing movies that we've seen in American cinematic history where the lead boxer is a black man, and that is so true in the sport. So often these men are black and Latino, and you don't get to see that in film, which is crazy to me. So I don't know. Is it a new dawn, a new day? I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You